happy to give us like a bit of a riffage intro?
Oh yeah. Put it on number A then. Let's do it. What do you want? Do you want some dirt?
I want.
That was cheesy as fuck.
Guten Tag, it's Rich from Hughes Kettner, and I'm sat today on the Hughes Kettner couch with...
My name is Browne. I play guitar for Monuments.
As you should know by now. If you don't, what are you doing? So, we're sat here on the couch with the new Hughes Kettner Black Spirit 200 combo amp. Some of you may know that last year we did a video with John and others related to Hughes Kettner for the Black Spirit 200 head version.
Where they made me get in a boxing ring and be the man, basically, which was sick.
And it was a great video and everyone had a good time, and now the time has come to bring out the combo version of the Black Spirit 200, and we thought we'd get you back.
Thank you very much for inviting me back to your facility.
It's our pleasure. The interesting thing is that a lot of guitar players would probably think of a combo amp as being something more suited perhaps towards cleaner sound and stuff like that. Yeah. But the amazing thing about the Black Spirit 200 combo is that we believe it is the biggest sounding 1x12 amp you're ever going to hear.
Okay.
Now, we're doing this video a couple of months before the amp actually comes out, and this is the first day.
Yep.
You've literally seen the amp.
Yep.
So we've literally had your first impressions of it this morning. So let's just go into it. We'll talk a little bit about the features, get your impressions on it, but having played it for 30 minutes just gives them a snippet of what they're about to experience.
It sounds a lot bigger than it looks. That's due to the cabinet design, which I'm sure we'll go into some more information later. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the head going into a cab. So when you go down to a smaller spec, you expect it to sound smaller, and that it does not. So it sounds great. It's tight, it's defined, and it can handle 7 strings.
It absolutely can.
Yeah.
One important thing to say about the sounds is that normally you would be hearing our amps through the Redbox DI on the back, and the Black Spirit 200 combo does indeed feature that, the Redbox AE Plus on the back, but because we want to show the size of this combo, we realized that we need to mic it up, just so you get a real impression of how it sounds. Okay? So all the sounds that you're hearing are coming from this microphone here. We're talking into this large black construction here in front of us.
And just so you know, this is a Lewitt mic. I can't tell you the model name, but it is very close to the Shure equivalent. And then this one is an Ashton Spirit. Not that it matters, it's only for our voice, but
no.
yeah.
But through the power of editing...
It's not even the Ashton Spirit, it's the Ashton Stealth.
Ashton Stealth.
Sorry, I screwed up.
That's all right. We'll blend the name of the mic in. We'll blend the name of the Lewitt in for you, just in case you love what you hear. All right, so let's talk about some of the features of the amp then. You're more of a metal guy, it's fair to say. Tell us about some of the key sounds that you have associated yourself with inside the amp.
So I generally go between 3 different sounds in a live situation. I will have a main rhythm tone, a clean sound, which is drenched in reverb, delay, chorus. Sometimes no delay, sometimes no chorus, sometimes no reverb. You get the idea. And then the third sound is lead that has delay and reverb, which I can achieve all internally with this amp.
Mm-hmm. The amp does indeed have 4 different channels: clean, crunch, lead, and ultra. It has a built-in array of effects, as alluded to there. So you've got a built-in reverb, digital delay, and 4 different modulation effects: chorus, phaser, flanger, and tremolo. And we're about to hear some of them right now. Can we maybe start with a nice clean sound then?
Yeah, we shall. And this has a little bit of chorus and a little, well, I say a little bit of reverb, quite a lot of reverb. And I will do it on my piezo pickup from my guitar.
Uh-huh.
Pizza pickup.
The pizza pickup.
Yeah. end rattling through my feet when I'm playing this.
Yeah.
And the amp isn't particularly very loud.
No.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we've got it at kind of a nice sort of room level here. It's 200 watts, the Black Spirit 200, as the name sort of implies. You can switch it down to 20 or 2, should you so wish. But at the moment, we're in 200 mode, and we've got the master at about 9 o'clock. So there's a lot more on tap, should you need it. A whole lot of headroom.
Yep.
That was a very lush, clean sound that you've used there with the 7-string, but the definition was great. You could hear every note. Tell us a little bit more about how you would use that in your music.
So generally I use a lot of layers, often play different octaves using the same clean sound. So depending on which pickup position I'm in, so often for high sort of notes like I will need to have it on the neck pickup, so it's a little bit thicker, and then when I want to play in the lower register, shift to my bridge pickup. So it needs to be able to retain the bigness in both octave situations, even from just a pickup change, and it still needs to have the definition. Obviously, when I'm playing in a live situation, I don't want to go between, even though I can with this thing, I don't want to go between a million different presets, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really defined. It's not muddy. The effects sound great. Everything's great.
Yeah. Everything's great. Now, you've got quite a bit of experience playing the head and cab version. So you've used the Black Spirit 200 head with the 2x12 cab. I think you've also used it with 4x12s.
Yeah, not yet. Actually,
right?
I'll be taking that. In fact, when this video gets released, I think we will be on tour in South America.
I think you will, yeah.
Which is the first tour I'll be doing with the Black Spirit, along with our other guitar player, Ollie, also using the Black Spirit through 4x12 cabs.
He is indeed.
Yeah.
So what I would be interested to know then is, having tried this one now, can you make any sort of comment between the differences in the clean sound based on the 2x12 cabs or the 4x12s against this one?
It's very difficult to make without hearing them side by side. Obviously, it's quite difficult, but it doesn't sound like I'm missing anything. Like all the information's there, and often if you go between a head and a combo, you'll notice that the bottom end just completely changes. The mid-range is different because often companies make combos open back, so that obviously changes the sound a lot.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's pretty similar in terms of the actual construction of the sound. As I say, there's no information missing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's honking at me. I don't feel like there's no bottom end.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a really well-constructed cab that works really, really well with the head.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the cabinet itself then. I should also say there will be more videos, or there maybe already are more videos, where we compare directly the combo version against a head and cab version. So watch out for those as well. But I'm just going to cleverly read some information I've written on the back of my hand earlier and tell you that this Spirit combo contains a UK-made Celestion G12 75H. He's laughing at me because he can remember
I actually already remembered it, yeah.
Yeah, so it contains that speaker. The Black Spirit 200 head pairs perfectly with our TM 2x12 cab, which contains Celestion Vintage 30. So there's a bit of a different tone there. But our engineers and R&D guys went through, spent a lot of time checking what would sound best in this enclosure. And this enclosure is what we call a teal small, or for the Germans, Teal small cabinet. And it's ported. So if you look down at the bottom here, you can see you've got a bit of bass reflex action going on. And what that does, it enables you to have a much fuller, deeper amount of low end in a smaller combo size. And that's also why we've got the amp on the ground there, so you can fully appreciate that effect going on, right?
And also with the bass ports, there's actually a physics behind it. Because I just spoke to your product manager for this cabinet design. And obviously the bass response is always about the amount of space it can travel, because sine waves are a certain length. So the bigger that you can make the what's the word I'm looking for? Basically the longer the distance to getting out of the cab, it means you have more bottom end. So if you have a completely sealed 1x12, the bass response doesn't have anywhere to go, and often you get that cab fart. You know what I'm talking about when you palm mute. With this, it gives it more space to travel, which means that the bass is more responsive in a smaller cab. It's not restricted. More bottom end equals happy me.
Happy Browne. So let's go on and let's look at some of that palm muting then. Show us what you were just talking about.
Let's do number A then. I say number A, I mean letter A. Let's try number D as well, which is another patch that I made on the same channel.
The Ultra channel.
Which has more bottom end. Literally feel the bass in my chest when I ring out a chord. So that's a really good sign.
That is a good sign indeed. It's a shame you can't feel it. You'll have to take our word for it.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Tell us about the settings you used on the Ultra channel, because I was surprised to learn just how little of the gain which is on tap you need to use to get those massive crushing riffs.
So with D, I actually don't have a boost on. And I'm pretty sure the gain is between 8 and 10 o'clock somewhere. In fact, you have it on your iPad.
I do.
So you'll be able to read this out.
What a good time to mention that the fact there is a free app for iPad for Black Spirit, and by the time you're watching this, there will also be a free app for iPhone. There will be an Android app, and there will be a PC and Mac desktop editor. So knock yourself out, whatever you've got. It all works via Bluetooth, so enjoy, have fun. It's all free. Share presets. Come and grab Brownes off the Hughes Kettner website, etc. Yes.
I actually had no idea this was coming out on iPhone, so I'm quite happy about that, indeed.
I'm just going to look onto the app now for this final preset. We're on D, right?
Yeah.
We're on the Ultra channel, and the gain is literally at about 8, 9 o'clock. I wonder if I can show this to one of the cameras here.
Or we could just do a screenshot.
Can we see that, Mr. Cameraman?
Hold it right on the knobs. Back. That's,
There we go. Maybe we'll have to do a screenshot as well. But that is the preset that Browne has used that you've just heard there. It's called Browne Ultra 7-string. You can get it from hughesandkettner.com, so please go and do that. And yeah, like I said, the gain is really down. It's less than a quarter of the way up.
Yep. You don't need gain, you just have to hit harder. Yeah, and the bass was actually turned down a little bit as well, which is obviously something you should do a little bit when you've got the low 7-string, but it's there, it's tight, sounds good.
Yeah, that was another reason in getting you here, because you're kind of one of these luminaries in the modern progressive metal scene, and we thought that it would be awesome to have someone like you here to demonstrate that such a small amp can actually pump out so much low end.
Yep.
And that other metal guys need not be worried if they're considering this kind of thing and are kind of worried about not getting that thump.
Exactly. And there's a difference between good thump and bad thump as well. And there's no bad thump in here because the bottom end is really tight and really responsive because of the cabinet design. Yep. It's like, it's not just woofing at you, you know what I mean, where it's like overbearing and out of control. It's controlled bottom end and it sounds great.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the slightly more traditional sounds then, and maybe we can build like a more traditional clean or a crunch sound or something like that, something that people might associate with combos, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Will we need to change guitars for that, do you think, or do you want to keep that one on?
Yeah, I can use that monstrosity over there.
Costume change, all right.
Sorry, Henning.
This is the more traditional guitar we've chosen for this video. Telecaster and Stratocaster fans might be slightly offended, but you know.
I mean, it's a 6-string. We're halfway there, aren't we? So,
exactly, yeah.
And Henning's going to hate me for this. I have to put it in my stupid tuning.
Which is?
It's Dadgad tuning. Let's see what that.
We're in.
Let's see what that channel sounds like with this guitar.
Yeah, go for it.
bottom end's still great on a 6.
Yep.
Which means that the EQ must have just been EQ'd marvellously. No, I'm kind of kidding. No, it sounds great. It's a little bit lower gain, probably from the pickups.
Yep.
Pickups being different.
Yep.
But it sounds good. Doesn't offend me at all. So should we try building something like maybe a lower gain sound or something like that?
Yeah, let's do.
Or should we start with clean? Should we just do clean?
If you're prepared to do clean, let's go clean.
Okay, so let's just take away the preset.
Yep.
Let's change bank actually, so I don't save over the preset I just did.
Okay.
So we're on clean. Let's put all the controls to noon, which is something that you should do whenever you start getting tones anyway.
Turn the boost off.
Yep, and then effects access, let's turn everything off for now. Delay level off, reverb off, all that off.
Just as he does that, let me tell you about the effects access control. That's the flashing one here on the front panel. Some of these knobs are dual function. You can see that it's written here, for example, cab type and sagging control. You simply press the effects access button to access the second control set behind that knob. It's that simple.
Let's see where we're at. It's pretty great already.
It's a pretty usable tone, yeah.
The treble's obviously a little bit piercing, so we'll just cut that down a little bit. Let's turn the bass up a tiny little bit. It's a pretty great place to start, isn't it? Like, that sounds really good to me. Maybe a little bit less treble on the bridge pickup. Slightly distorting from the gain. Let's turn that down just a tiny little bit more, depending on what you're doing for your clean sound. It's pretty great.
Pretty good so far. Where do you stand on the sagging debate? This is the sagging control, by the way.
Okay, let's just go through them.
So the sagging control, I should say then, at this point is it's an emulation of power amp sag. When we talk about sag in tube amps, that's what we're talking about. When you crank the power section and it starts to compress into itself and bloom, and you get these massive amounts of harmonic overtones and it responds differently under your fingers, that is sag. And Black Spirit 200, the head and now the combo, are the first amps that we know that can recreate this in an analog way. So what we're going to go through now is no sag, which is kind of perfectly clean, loads of dynamic headroom, all the way through to full-on sag, which replicates the effect of pushing a power amp to within an inch of its life. You play a bit and I'll just twist it up.
Okay, so this is number 1. We'll go from number 1 all the way up.
All the way up, yeah. I've added a couple of steps of sag in now. Sag. We've
sag.
reached maximum sag.
And did
on
you
that clean
notice
setting.
that the gain has increased as well, which is to do with power amp distortion. The
Exactly.
harder I hit it, the more gain I get.
Yep. Did it react differently to you? Did you feel a playing difference?
Yeah, it was definitely in the bass response. And as you say, it adds more compression.
Yep. definitely something you would notice more on cleaner settings, and I would suggest that's something you probably wouldn't want to use on the ultra channel, because then you're looking, especially when you're chugging, for an instant response. So you want to cut the sagging down to minimum then.
It's funny, my actual presets that I made, the sagging was actually fairly high.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I normally had it about 5 or 6, I think, on my settings, and that's where it feels, where it starts to have the power amp affect it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's just have a play on the clean sound. If I hit a little bit harder, then I get a little bit of compression out of it. And then if I hit softly, which is cool because it reacts like a tube amp.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
At this point, then, I guess I can tell you a tiny little bit about the Spirit technology which is inside the amp. We have a whole video on the Spirit tone generator, which is the tone generating module, which has been developed in-house by H&K, by Bernd Schneider, our main engineer, who's been on a quest for years and years and years to develop an amp which is analog, but reacts and sounds and feels like a tube amp, just doesn't have any tubes in it. He thinks he's got there with this amp, and I think the vast majority of players who have played it have said pretty much the same thing.
Yep.
And based on what you've just said,
yep, it does actually
job's a good one.
does feel like a tube amp. And I guess the best way to look at it for people are like, oh, you have to do the clipping stage as a transistor or something like that. And it's technology, the way that it's moved. Just imagine the size of what a mobile phone used to be. And now we can have an entire computer in our pocket. So we've just shrunk things down in size, and pretty much that's what's happened here. He's taken a tube amp and shrunk it as technology got better.
Yep. And there it is. So enjoy. Right, I want to save that clean sound before we go anywhere else.
Okay.
So I'm not going to save it in the app. I'll save it in the app after the video. But we'll save it on the amp itself with the FSM foot switch, just to show you guys how to do it. And it couldn't be more simple. You simply press the store button here. That lights up. Choose a location on the foot switch where you want to save it. Let's save it in
D.
31D, where you are already. Store flashes a couple of times and it's saved, so that preset is now within the amp and can be recalled at any time. I will save it on the iPad app, and we'll put that up on the website as well, so you guys can have it if you want it. Alright, so we've got that sound. Let's make like a more classic sort of a crunch sound, maybe something classic rocky or something like that.
Da-da. Okay, let's have a little listen then. Let's just move all the way to noon again with all our controls.
Yep.
As that is a good starting point. I'd say it was a little bit too high gain to be sort of classic rock. I kind of want it just to be where I hit it heavy and the strings are just really in your face, you know. So let's try turning the treble up slightly, maybe the bass down a little bit. That's still very high gain, isn't it? Let's turn that down. Kind of want that, it's hard to explain, you know, that string, the string sound that pops out, the really trebly kind of sound. That's kind of the thing I'm kind of getting there. Harder I hit, the more gain I get. It's very, very responsive. So let's try turning that sagging up a little bit.
Where were you on before? About 2 or 3? Or we?
I'm not too sure actually, because obviously we changed preset, so I think it was on around about 5 or 6.
Yep.
So let's just try turning that up a little bit. It's getting there. Let's turn the treble up a tiny little bit more. really cool low gain tone, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe a little bit less mid. So let's just cut that a tiny little bit. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's a pretty neat and versatile crunch sound, I would say.
Let's turn the boost on and let's see where it takes us.
So the boost effectively took us to 11 there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the crunch, it was cool, wasn't it? So let's try just adding a tiny little bit of reverb.
Built-in digital spring reverb on this amp, by the way.
It's cool. It's definitely taking us to the right place, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. That is a basic rock tone with which you could do an awful lot, I would have thought.
I really wish I wasn't in this tuning right now so I could play some rock chords.
Yeah,
But no, like, it gets the idea across, doesn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to save that one as well. Let's make it nice and simple. We'll save it in patch C there. Press the store button. Tap down on there.
And then we have it.
There we go. And going back to the last tone that we created, I just pressed the previous preset button, like this.
Oh yeah, we did a clean sound, didn't we? I
And that's
was
the
just
clean
trying to chug then. Well, back on this clean, I just want to add a little bit of reverb and delay to
Yeah.
it, make it nice and sweet, you know, if you don't mind.
Actually, I do. This video is over.
And then we'll also add in a tiny little bit of chorus from there.
That is a beautiful sound.
It's lovely.
And I'm going to be greedy and I'm going to steal that as well as the basic clean sound you made before. So let's save that as a different preset.
do
We'll
it
just
to
save
B.
it here in B.
Yep.
So now, through those two touches of a button here and a switch there, we've saved that preset in an empty slot. So now we have the previous clean sound, which sounds like this. And here's the version that we just made with the added chorus and reverb. And delay.
Maybe a little bit too much reverb, but that's fine.
Yeah. No, but you can tweak it to your heart's content. And I guess
Exactly.
what the last couple of minutes has showed is how simple and easy it is to change, to create, and save presets for yourself. You can save up to 128 in the amp through MIDI, and using any MIDI controller of choice. The FSM432 is the Hughes Kettner one, but many external brands will work and function as well. Of course, it's all controllable and doable in the app as well. And yeah, like I said, I mean, if you want to go through and build up different sounds, you don't have to lose anything. Everything is savable and storable. All the pot settings on the amp are savable and storable thanks to smart rotary control technology. A lot more information about that on the Hughes Kettner website. I shan't bore you with it here. But basically, I would say if you were going to go on tour or play a show or whatever, you could program every sound into this amp.
Yep.
Make, let's say, a bank of 4 different sounds for a song, move on to the next one, and you're sorted.
It's exactly what I do.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. And, well, I'm going to say you're going on tour with the Black Spirit 200. You will be on tour when this video comes out.
Yeah.
I don't know then if I can ask you how it's been programming the presets for that tour. Have you done that yet?
No, I haven't done that yet, but it will be very easy. I've programmed the Triamp and also the Grandmeister, and the premise is pretty much the same as the Grandmeister. You have an external app on an iPad, and in this sense, I'll be able to use my phone, which means I don't have to carry an iPad around with me anymore, which is great. And yeah, it's really easy to do. You literally just press save once you've got your sound, and there it is. If you want to make any tweaks when you're on tour, it's really easy. Tweak it ever so slightly per what venue you're going in. Easy. Press save. Done.
Yep. And let's say you're in a position like John and you get to tour the world and do stuff like that. Let's say you don't want to take an amp across the world with you.
Yeah.
You simply take your iPad or your iPhone. You can beam your presets into any amp that you want. And it's as easy as that. You've got all your sounds there on stage at the venue ready to go.
Exactly.
Simple.
Easy. And it'll be in exactly the same location as where they are now. Yeah, easy. So you don't have to change anything. If you've got programmed into a complicated rig, you can, even if it goes down or you don't have one in that location, you can literally just grab hold of another one, or you grab one in that location and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's that easy. So check it out. That is the Black Spirit 200 combo. Brand new from Hughes Kettner. I do have one bonus question for you. You just mentioned the fact that you've used extensively the Grandmeister before, you've used the Black Spirit head, and now this.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts about the Grandmeister versus the Spirit amps, because a lot of people online ask us about those. Which is better? Which should I get, and why? And do you have an opinion on that, based as a pro touring guitarist?
There's no better and no worse when you get to a certain level. It's all personal preference, and that's what this will be. It'll just be personal preference. The Grandmeister is very good at doing what it does. It even does our sound really well, which is surprising considering we play 7 strings and it's only 42 watts, but it actually sounds great. This obviously has more headroom, which means it has, I wouldn't say better response in the bottom end, it's different. It's a little bit more refined in the bottom end. But as I said, once you get to a certain level, it's all personal preference.
Yeah.
And in this case, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Just try them both and then make your own decision. That's the best way to do it, isn't it?
That is the best way to do it.
So buy both.
That's the ultimate result for us, yeah.
Yeah.
So switch YouTube off now, get down to your local H&K dealer, and try them out for yourself, see which one you prefer. If you need any more information on this or any other of our amps, there's loads on hughesandkettner.com and on our YouTube channel. Make sure you head across and check out John Browne and Monuments if you haven't by any chance already, and we shall see you in the next video. Tschüss!